discussed about some operators, right? Conditional statements, patterns, right? Printing patterns like 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. What was the generalizer procedure we have discussed about this? Generalizer procedure, some generalizer procedure we have devised, right? What is that? Rows and columns. We have to consider this as the table. Then rows and columns we will be finding. Then how many rows we are having, that we will come to know. Next, how many columns in each row. Like in the first column we are having 1. In the second column, 2 in the first row we are having 1 column entry. Okay, although 3 columns are there, only 1 entry is there. Okay, next in the second row, 2 entries. In the third row, 3 entries. In the fourth row, 4 entries. In the ith row, we will be having I entries. Okay. Next, what is this I? I represent row number. I represent row number. J represent column number. So I value, as we are having, we will be having n number of rows. N will be the input. Okay, n will be the input. If I give n value as 5, then what should be the output? 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be the output, right? So if I give n value as 5, then 5 rows. If I give n value as 3, only 3 rows. Like that it should display. So I value will represent row number. I value will represent row number. So I value will start from 1 up to n. Up to n. So by using range function, how we can repeat? Starting from 1 up to n plus 1. So it will repeat up to n. So 1 comma n plus 1. Then j represent column. So column, how many entries we are having in the first row? 1. In the third row, 3. In ith row, I. So j value start from 1. That is again range function, 1 up to I plus 1. Why? Because I entries we will be having. So starting from 1, we have to stop at I only. That's why we are specifying here I plus 1. Then what we have to print here? What we have to print? Column number. Right? This is column number 2, 3, 4. We are having 1 only in entire column, 2 only in entire column, 3 only in entire column. So we have to print just j, and we have to print all the entries. Suppose ith row, I entries we will be having. All the entries we have to print in the same row, isn't it? By default, if you use print, then what will how it will display? Like suppose W if you display, then print E if you display. What will be the output? Like this? Like this, right? W will be printed, then it will end with a new line. That means it will place the cursor in the next line. Then E will be printed, again it will place the cursor in the next line. So output will be like this, not like this. Okay. So now consider this print j. If you write, then it will print 1. Suppose let us consider I value is 3. That is, we are in third row. Then it will print 1. Immediately it will place the cursor in the next line. Cursor in the next line. But we wanted to keep the cursor in the same line. That's why we need to end this print with the space. You can end. By default, if you don't specify anything, it will end with a new line. Okay. Then we need not specify this end is equal to new line, like that. We need not specify. If we don't specify anything, by default it will consider new line. If you want to end that line with space, if you want to end that line with not line, after printing this j, suppose for every character, if you want to print like this, after printing 1, you wanted to print a. After printing 1, again you wanted to print a, then 2a, 3a, like this. Then after printing everything, we are ending that with A. By default, how it will print? It will end with new line. That means cursor will be placed in the next line. But what we are printing, instead of new line will be represented as /n, that you keep in mind. /n is used to represent new line. So this is a character. Instead of this, we are specifying just space. If you specify space, then after printing 1, it will print space. If you don't specify, it will print this one, that is /n, that is new line. Okay. So this particular function we will provide with additional parameter called end is equal to within double quotes space, so that it will print space. Yeah. Now let us see some other examples, like earlier we have seen this pattern, right? Mirror image of it, like we have to print like this. Yeah. How can we print? We need to buy a mirror. We have to go to shop, and we not like that, right? So how we can print? We have to analyze. How many rows we have? How many column entries we have? That we have to count. Yeah. How many rows? That will be the input. Okay. N is 4 means 4 rows. 3 means 3 rows. Okay. N. Next, columns. How many entries in the first column? First row. Sorry. First row. How many entries? 1. Second row. 2. Ith row. I. So similar kind of pattern only. But there is one difference from this one and this one. What is that? Here, are we printing here anything? Why? Because if you print star, then if you start from the next row, automatically it will be considered as a space for visibility, right? So we need not print anything. But as we are printing at the end, here we need to give some space, right? That's what you can observe. So now, how many spaces we have to print? That is the question. How many places in this? In the first row, how many spaces? 3. In the second row, 2. In the third row, 1. In the fourth row, 0. Let us consider n value as 5. Then what will be the pattern? First star will be there, then 2 stars, 3 stars. Now you consider I. I is what? I is what? Row number. Okay. I value. What will be the I value? 1. Here 2. Here 3. Here 4. Here 5. Okay. Let us consider how many number of spaces we are printing in this one. Yes. Yes. Number of spaces as yes. S represents number of spaces. Now, how many spaces we are having in the first row? 4. Here 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. If you have n value as 5, we are starting from 4. If you are having n value as 4, then if n value as n, then n minus 1. Okay. What will be the next one? This will be n minus 1. Next, n minus 2. Next, n minus 5. Okay. Is there any relationship between this S and I? I is increasing, isn't it? S is decreasing. Can you generalize it? How many number of spaces we will be having in second row? Given n, how many number of spaces we will be having? Given n, how many number of spaces? N minus in second row. N minus 2, definitely. Okay, irrespective of n. If n is 5, it will be 3. If n is 4, it will be 2. If n is 7, it will be 5. In second row. In third row, n minus 3. In ith row, that's what I is the row number, right? In ith row, you can relate here n minus 1, n minus 3. So how can we generalize these all? It will be n minus I. What is this n minus I? N minus I number of spaces. Okay. So we come to know by analyzing like this, we come to know how many number of spaces. Okay. Afterwards, how many actual entries, spaces are there? Okay. Apart from spaces, how many actual entries? Like print I, isn't it? In first row, 1 entry. In the second row, 2 entries. So in ith row, I entries. So I entries we need to have. Next, n minus I number of spaces. Okay. So if you start from first row, in the first row, how many spaces? N minus I, n minus 1. Okay. N minus I spaces we will print. Afterwards, within that row only, we have to print. How many stars? I stars, isn't it? I stars we have to print. Next, in the next row, n minus I number of I value will be incremented, right? For the next row. So n minus I number of n minus I number of spaces, then I number of stars. Again n minus I number of spaces, I number of stars. Like this we will repeat. How many times we will repeat? Number of rows, isn't it? So n times. To repeat n times, I in range 1 comma n plus 1. That's it. Then it will be repeated. In each iteration, what we are printing? We are printing spaces. One more thing, we are printing stars as well. So we are for printing spaces. Just how can you print one space? Just a space you have to print. How can you print? Just a print within double quotes, give space. That's it, right? Okay. How many times we have to repeat the statement? N minus I times, isn't it? So can we put it in a loop again? Next, how many stars we are printing in each row? I stars. So for printing one star, we can use a print within double quotes a star. Okay, how many times we have to repeat that statement? I times. Can we put it in a loop? Yes. So outside one loop will be there. That is to repeat number of rows. Okay. For each row, it will be repeated. For each row, what will be having inside? For printing spaces, one loop. For printing stars, another loop. So can you able to complete the program now? Take the input as n. Afterwards, take one outer loop, that is I, which represents which repeats from 1 to n. That is range of 1 comma n plus 1. Then inside that, for printing spaces, you use one loop. For printing stars, you use another loop. That's it. Complete it. How can we take input? By using input function, right? Input, enter number of rows. Like that, some appropriate message you type. And number of rows. By default, it will consider it as the string, but we have to convert that into integer. That's why we will be using integer function. Next, after taking the input, that is n, we have to use a loop. What is the loop? For loop. Then I in range 1 comma n plus 1. That is, we have to repeat from 1 to n. In each row, we have to print how many number of spaces? N minus I. That's why we need to use another loop for, let us assume yes. Okay, yes in range of 1 comma how many? N minus I plus 1. Why? Because if you specify here n minus I plus 1, then it will consider up to n minus I. If you take here 1 comma n plus 1, it will, for you only saying, if you take, you have a doubt, right, why we are using plus 1? Then you listen. 1 comma n plus 1. If you use here, it will start from 1. Okay? It will not consider this n plus 1. Before that only it will stop. Understand? By excluding, 1 is included, but n plus 1 is excluded. That's why it will be repeated from 1 to n, although we have specified 1 to n plus 1. Similarly here, what is the requirement? Starting from 1 up to n minus 1, n minus I, it has to repeat. That's why we are giving n minus I plus 1. Then what we have to print? We have to print these many number of spaces, right? First we have to print space. So print within double quotes, give some space. Okay, afterwards, this loop will be repeated here. After printing the spaces, we have to print star. How many stars? I stars. That is the row number. So by aligning with this for only, we have to use another for. You can consider that as star, right? You can use same S or you can use ST or to represent star. Okay. How many stars we have to print? 1 to I plus 1. So it will repeat from 1 to I. What we have to print? Star. Any other things? Yeah. So these two prints we have to update it as print space. Afterwards we have to end with this double quotes. That's it. Okay, double quotes, open it, close it, so that it will print in the same line. Next, here also after printing star, we have to end with double quotes. That means it will not consider that by default new line character. It will not end with new line character. Next, after printing one line, we have to keep the cursor in the next line, right? How can we print? Print just empty character. So after completing a loop, okay, after completing these two loops, not this one, after completing one iteration, that is after printing one line, we have to keep the cursor in the next line. For that we can use print double quotes. That's it. Okay, double quotes open, close. Even single quotes also you can use. By default it will end with new line only, so it will keep the cursor in the next line.
In the first and then start, it will print the same mirror image. They print M and then start, same process.
Yeah.
Output will be the same.
Yeah.
In this way,
Star you are printing. J greater than 1. Okay, you are considering n entries will be there total. Yeah. Understand? Any doubt is there? Understand? Is this first class for you? Why? Okay. But you didn't listen anything. Can you able to understand? Little bit. Why we are using last print? Yes. Why we are using that last print? Huh? Why we are using last print, ma? Two. Next. Next. Last print, why we are using? Next. What is the question? Yeah, you only. What is the question? Last. What is the question? What is the last print? Answer. Huh? Print in the same line. Huh? Place the cursor in next line. Listen. Okay. Yeah. Now you write a program to print the following pattern. Given input n is 4, then this should be the output. N is 4, then that is number of rows. So how can we analyze? How can we analyze this one? Rows and columns. So how many rows? N rows. N rows. Given input n rows. Next, in each row, how many entries? In the first row, second row, fourth row, third row. So how can we do it? 2n minus 1. Is it correct? Is it satisfying? For the fifth row, how many entries will be there? 9. Is it satisfying? Yes. So 2n minus 1 number of, make it generalize it. In second row, how many entries? How many entries? Yeah. How many stars? Third row, 5. Fourth row, eighth row, I plus 2. In ith row, how many stars will be there? 2i minus 1. This many number of stars. How many spaces? Here we have to print spaces, right? Not afterwards. Okay, these we can ignore. But before this star, we have to print spaces, then only this pattern will come. So how many spaces here? Here? If you increase the number of rows, then how many spaces will be here? So how can you generalize? How many spaces? In the first row, how many spaces? In first row, if the number of rows has n, in the first row, how many spaces? Just now we have analyzed n minus 1, definitely n minus 1, right? So second row, n minus 2, ith row, n minus I. So n minus I spaces. Then how many stars? How many stars in ith row? Okay, in ith row, we have to print first spaces, that is n minus 5 spaces. Then second one is, we have to print stars. How many stars? 2i minus 1 number of stars. Okay, after this, we will keep the cursor in the next line, so that again we will repeat. Can you able to complete the program now? Input will be same, n. Then we have to repeat I from range, I in range of how many? 1 comma n plus 1. Then in each row we have to print those many spaces, those many stars. Then we will keep the cursor in the next line. You are from which section? D only. You have attended long back, right? Why? Okay, everyone will go home every day. Did you attend online? Did you attend online? All the classes? Completed? Hmm. Yes. 2i. Why? We have to give plus 1, not minus 1, right? 2i minus 1 plus 1, it will be 2i. Range of? Yeah, range of 2i minus 1 also you can use. That will also repeat for how many times? 2i minus 1 number of times. Over? Structure is same, just we need to change here. What? This is same, right? This is same. Then how many spaces? This is also same. Next, just we need to change here. Instead of 1 comma I plus 1, we will be using 1 comma 2i. That's it. Over. Next. Okay. In the last class, I think in revision class, we have discussed plus, minus, star, slash, then mod. These all as arithmetic operators, right? These all are arithmetic operators. What we call this? Floor division. 12 floor division 5. What will be the answer? 2. 13 floor division 5. 2 only. Okay. 15 floor division 5. 15 by 5. 3. 13 by 5. 2.6. Okay. So this will give normal thing, like in decimal points it will give real number as the output. But if you use floor division, then it will consider whole number, that is integer part of it, that will be considered. Right? These are the arithmetic operators. Next, we know already, we have used several times these things: greater than or equal to. less than or equal to, right? Less than or equal to. Next, equal to. Next, not equal to. Okay, when we have used these all, like two numbers given, whether those two are which one is greater one, which one is maximum of 2, you have to find, then you will be using this one. Next, you can consider whether the given point is inside the circle or outside the circle. In that problem we have used less than or equal, greater than or equal to, or even less than or equal to. By using this we could able to do. Or whether the given number is even or odd, what we will use, which operator we will use, even or odd, then mod operator, then we will use this comparison operator. Okay, these all we will use to compare one operand with another operand. Okay, these all will come under the umbrella called comparison operators. Okay, sometimes we can consider as relational operator. Comparison operators are relational operators. Next, we have seen end or not. These are other operators. End or not. When we will use these operators, these are also operators only. Okay, when we will use these is, suppose we are having two conditions to check to execute one particular statement. Two conditions. If two conditions are satisfied, then only we have to execute certain statement. Like leap year, you consider. If the year is divisible by 100, then we have to check whether it is divisible by 400 or not. So both the conditions are satisfied, then only we can consider it as leap year. So in that case, we will be using end. Right? If both are out of two conditions, one is satisfied, one is true, then that is sufficient. Then we can make use of or. Both are required means that is end. If one of those is sufficient, then we can say or. That means, for example, let us say for grading, for A grade, B grade, C grade, we are having two components to evaluate, to give these grades. We are having two components, internal, external. Internal marks, external marks. Okay, this is pre-comp pre, let us say. So now this is out of 60, this is out of 40, total 100 will be there. Now this should be greater than 30 and this should be greater than 20, then we can give A grade. This should be greater than 20, this should be greater than 15, then only we can give B grade. Like this we are assuming. Okay, don't ask by based upon this again grade. This is just for your understanding. 15 greater than 10, then we'll give C grade. So in all these three cases, what is the primary requirement? We need to have these two, then only we can give this particular grade. Suppose internal marks are 45 and here we are having 20. What grade we will get? B. Why? Because these two conditions not satisfied. Greater than 20 condition not satisfied. Suppose 18 is there, then also B. Why? Because the second condition is not satisfied. Suppose this is the constraint, that is internal should be greater than 30. Here we will use end. One more condition, external should be greater than 20. Then print A. This we will use with if. Got it? To connect two conditions, we will be using end. Even for the same thing, we can use or as well. What will be the functionality? Either internal should be greater than 30 or external should be greater than 20. Then we can give A grade. Understand? That is the functionality. I hope you could able to relate end or functionality. When we can use these two, whenever we wanted to frame a condition based upon two or more conditions. Okay, not only two conditions, two or more conditions also we can connect by using AND operator. Okay, even you can consider same context, internal should be greater than 30 and external should be greater than 20. Okay, and total should be greater than 80, then only A grade can be given. Understand? So here all these three conditions should be satisfied, then only this will be executed. Like that we can connect more than one, two or more conditions we can connect, we can combine to form a single condition. What is the single condition now? This entire thing will be considered as a condition. Okay, if we are putting this entire thing, when this particular condition will be true based upon the outcomes of individual conditions, right? I hope you know the truth table of P and Q. Okay, in previous classes I have discussed as well, right? True, then only it will be true, other than that it will give false. That is AND operation. Similarly, OR means for OR, one of the two conditions satisfied, then that is sufficient. Then we can give this particular grade. So now, if both are not satisfied, then only we cannot give that particular grade, that is false. So both are false, then only it is false, otherwise it is true. Okay. Next, what about NOT operator? Yeah, just it will negate the outcome of the condition. Suppose if n mod 2 is equal to 0, then we can say it is even number. If not, we can use directly here. If not, then odd number. Okay. Yes, here we are comparing, we can use not equal to as well. But whenever numericals are there, then only we will use equal to, not equal to. But if some condition is there, then this is more readable, isn't it? If not, n is even, some condition we will be using. If that is not there, then this will be executed. Like that, program can be understandable for most of the people. That is the thing. So these are several other operators. Next, we have seen other operators like in, not in. When we will use those, what we call those operators? Membership operators. How we will use that? In, not in. In we will use to check whether the given thing is present in this. Like if suppose with respect to strings we have seen, right? Yeah, some character is given. Suppose character is capital A. Whether this is present in this string or not. CH, if CH, this is character. N, this character is present in this string or not, we can check. That is membership operator. This we call it as membership operator. Whether this is a member of this string or not, we can check. If this is present, then it will give true. Okay. Otherwise, it will give false. True and false will be part of the data type called bool. Like integer, float. Integer, you know what kind of values we can store in integer? Whole numbers, right? Similarly, float means real numbers we can store. Similarly, complex. Complex means complex number. These are the three numeric types we have seen. Next, apart from it, bool is another data type that we have. Here we can have whole numbers like 1, 2, 3 or -1, -2. Next, float 3.5, 3.7, like this we will be having. Complex numbers means what is the usual thing? 1 plus I. Complex. Here in Python we will be representing like A plus Bj. J instead of I we will be using J. That's it. Okay. I have told you or not? Right. These are the numeric types. These are the allowed values for Boolean data type. Next, in, not in is reverse operation to in. If that is not present, then it will give true. If that is present, then it will give false. If you use not in, that is ch not in this string. Got it? Next, apart from these operators, we are having other operators like what is this symbol? And. Similarly, we are having R. This is R actually. This is R. How we can type this one? Are you having this symbol in the keyboard? Yes, this one. What is this? This we call it as pipe symbol. This is called as pipe symbol. Okay. Whenever we use this kind of operators, okay, like this, these are also operators only. Operation will be similar to whatever we have seen, like AND operation or operation we have seen, right? Similar to that. That is, whenever both are true, then only it is true. Whenever both are false, then only it is false, right? Similar operation we will be having for these operators as well. But when we will be using this AND and OR, when we will be using in between conditions. In between conditions we will be using. But whenever we use these instead of AND OR, then these operations will be performed on bits. These operations will be performed on bits. In the sense, suppose we are having one variable called a, which is having the value 5, and another variable is having this b having the value 8. Okay, how these two values will be stored internally? How these two values will be stored internally? Binary, right? So this has to be, this will be converted to binary, this will be converted to binary, right? So what is the binary equivalent of 5? Binary equivalent of this 8. Okay, binary equivalent of 5 is 101. How we can get? So 101. Next 8 also we will divide like this and we will write it from the bottom. So 2 4 0 2 2 0 2 1 0 1 triple 0. Okay, and now you see what is the operation that we wanted to perform in between A and B is AND operation. Okay, so AND operation we have to perform. As we have discussed, this AND operation will be performed on bits. So whatever the binary equivalent of those numbers, in between we will be performing bits, this AND operation. So now here we are having 4 digits, 4 bits. How many bits here we are having? 3. Can we make it 4 by putting 0 here or here? Where we have to put? Right side or left side? Left side. So now 1 and 0, what will be the outcome? Like you consider true as 1, false as 0. True as 1. So 1 1 means 1. Other than that, it will be false, right? True true means true. Other than that, it will be false for AND operation. Similarly here 1 0, what will be the outcome? 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 1 0. Understand? So this is the AND operation. Suppose if you assign like this, C is equal to A and B. C is equal to A and B, and these kind of things you will be getting in MCQs kind of, like A will be 40, B will be 20, C will be 10, D will be 0. Definitely you will not be choosing D, but the answer is D. Yes or no? Definitely you will not choose. Understand? So whenever A value is given as 15, what will be the answer? A value is given as 15. Same question. What will be the answer? 15. Yeah, online people, please respond, ma. Check once. Correct? Yeah, this is like 4 ones. Next, of course, with 4 ones, whatever the number you will do end operation, that number only you will get. Why? Because there is no objection from this, right? That's what you can understand. Yeah, so it will be 1,000,000. What is the decimal equivalent of this? 8. So output will be 8. If A value is 15, then A and B will give 8. Next, you consider A value as 7, sorry, not 7, 17. B value as 6. What is the value of C? C is equal to A and B. What is the value of C? Hmm? 8 only. 17. What is the decimal binary equivalent of 17? You stop doing. Huh? 1 0 will be the answer. What is the binary equivalent of 17? 1 1 0 0 1 000 1. Okay, this is the binary equivalent. Next, 6. Actually 110 we will be getting. Okay, we can put before that 0. Now you perform AND operation. Then this is 1, this is 0. So what is the answer? 0. Okay, next, same A is equal to 17, B is equal to 6. Okay, D is equal to A or B. What is the answer? What is the value of D? Check once. R operation, just you perform in reverse. R operation, 0 1. What is the result? 1. 1 0 1 1. 16 plus 7. Correct? How can you convert that into decimal? 1 0 1 1. Convert. $26, $46. Check once. I told you already 16 plus 7. 23. D, A or B. Next, there is one operator called XOR. This is actually cap symbol. Okay, you can find on 6. Okay, 6. You are having this symbol. This is called as cap symbol. Okay, generalized terminology. But with respect to this, we will be saying this one as XOR. XOR in the sense exclusive OR. Exclusive OR. In general, what is the truth table of OR? You say, what is the truth table of OR? True, false? False, true? Okay, whenever it is false in both the conditions, then only it is false. This is OR, right? But exclusive OR in the sense, whenever either of these two is true, then only it is true. Okay, if both are true, then also it is not allowed. Either of these two should be true, then only it is true. So what will be the truth table now? True, true, false, true, false, true, false, false, false. Either of these two is true, then only it is true. This is called XOR, and we denote with a cap symbol. We denote with cap symbol. Now same thing. E is equal to A cap B. Now you say. What will be the answer? Within second you should say. Why? Because A value 17, it is there. 6, it is there. R operation. Or we have just only difference is whenever both are 1, it should be 0. Both are 1, there is no possibility. So we will be getting the same result. For this, you tell. For A value as 5, B value as 8. Then A exclusive or B? All zeros. A exclusive or B? 8 is 1 triple 0. 1 1 0 1. So what's the answer? One 1 0 1. This one 13, right? So like this, we have seen these all operators, AND, OR and exclusive OR, these all being performed on bits of the given number, isn't it? That's why these are called as bitwise operators. Bitwise operators. Okay, bitwise operators. In the next class, we will see some more bitwise operators. Okay, just as a last point, I will give like in some programs we have seen like 11 1101. It is 13. Yeah. We have seen in some programs like sum is equal to sum plus I. Have you seen this kind of statement? Yes. Sum 2 is equal to sum 2 plus I, or count is equal to count plus 1. Have you seen these kind of statements? Yes. So what is the intention here? Count is equal to count plus 1 means whatever the count value we have, that we wanted to increment. Similarly, some value we have to increment by I. Some value we wanted to increment by I. Okay. Whenever we have these kind of statements, instead of writing entire thing, we have one shortcut vertical statement, that is sum is equal to sum plus equal to I. That means for sum we have to add I and we have to assign to sum itself. Okay, this is equivalent to sum is equal to sum plus I. Plus is equal to is the shorthand operator, which will be having the meaning as sum is equal to sum plus I. Got it? How can we write here? Count is equal to count plus 1. Count plus equal to 1. Count plus equal to 1. Like this we can write. So plus is equal to is the short. This is also an arithmetic operator only, but shorthand operator we can say. Okay, plus is equal to. Similarly, sum is equal to sum minus I. Then we can use minus equal to. Okay, don't use equal to plus. This is wrong. Okay, minus equal to means sum minus equal to I. What will be the statement? Sum is equal to sum minus I. Okay. Similarly, we can use slash as well, star as well. Star is equal to even this as well. Next, percentage also, this mod operator also you can use with this. Okay, even end, these also you can use. End is equal to, or is equal to, xr equal to, these all are shorthand operators. If you understand one thing, that is sufficient. Sum plus equal to I. There is no functionality difference. Just for to make the program more easier, we can use this. Okay, if you are comfortable with this, then it is well and good. But if you use this, it is not advisable to. I am not insisting you to use this plus is equal to. But if you have idea, whenever you refer others programs, then you could able to understand the logic. Okay, that's why I am saying this. Okay, about bitwise, other bitwise operators we will see in the next class. Okay. And tomorrow you will be having lab. Okay, 10 to 1, same time.